Hey everybody, welcome to another season of Dark Souls. I think this is like season 5 at this point, so I'll just skip the formalities. This is going to be an Artorias playthrough. I mean, I was Artorias for a decent portion of the last one, but I don't really consider... After doing the Black Knight playthrough, I felt that it didn't feel like a real Black Knight playthrough because I only was at Black Knight stuff at the end, so at this point on, I'm only gonna call things like a themed playthrough in like a New Game Plus, as like a New Game Plus playthrough with all this stuff I already got. So, by the way, I was in the Dark Souls 2 beta recently, and it was a lot of fun. I forget if the NDA is still up on that, but in all honesty, literally every single major Dark Souls person I know has already talked all about it, so I'm starting to think FromSoft doesn't really care, and that all the people don't care either. So I might talk about a bit about Dark Souls 2, the beta. But yeah, well, that guy's dead. No problem. Especially, also, I gotta remember to keep at least 10 humanity on me with this sword. Just chill there. Yeah, a few things. I mean, I was able to beat all the content in the Dark Souls 2 beta. I mean, obviously not 100% the content, not like getting all the items, but I beat the content in Dark Souls 2. I beat the bosses that were there. It was supposed to be a 2-hour-long beta network test, but it ended up extending to 3 hours. I don't know why. But yeah, there was 2 bosses. I'm not gonna say who they were, or what they do. If you want to know that, you can just find them in the video out there. There's a bunch of them. But if I talk about it, I'm gonna stick mainly to mechanics. Oh, that normally doesn't hit me. Right. I mean, there's a few extra stats now, or they changed what stats do.
I'm done for. I'll die.
Nope. Actually, yeah. A couple main things. I forget if it's called endurance or if it's just called stamina. Actually, I think it's endurance. Yeah, endurance raises your stamina. It only raises your stamina now. It doesn't increase your equipment load. And there's one stat I'm worried is going to be considered like the be-all end-all stat. Also, why am I going up here? There's one stat I'm worried is going to be considered like the be-all end-all stat, and that's agility. It basically increases how quickly you do just about everything. Other than, I don't think it affects your attack speed though. But like all the animations seem to go much faster. You'll drink Estus faster and stuff like that, and people think, that doesn't seem like a big deal. Okay, I'll do some things faster. You do some very important things faster. Use it's believed that it seems like nobody's 100% sure of this yet, but the general consensus is that you seem to have your stun lock animation go through faster, so you can escape stun locks more easily with high agility. I mean, essentially, the controls, they don't feel bad. They feel different, though. It feels a bit more loose. Again, not in a bad way. I was immediately able to pick the game, the beta up, and play, and I got used to it after killing like 2 guys. And I didn't have any problem with it. It feels a bit loose, but not in a way that's frustrating or anything. But the agility stat kind of makes it so you don't feel like it's as loose anymore. Everything seems to be a bit tighter, which a lot of big PvP guys complained about that, because tight controls is pretty important in a competitive thing. But a lot of them just said that playing the beta without really dumping all points into agility to see what it did. But yeah, I mean, the main thing I'm wondering is, I wonder what the new PvP standard level is, because there's, I think there's like 2 more stats to put points into now. And what do I want to do first? Yeah, we'll just, also, do I have any more Firekeeper souls? Oh, you know what I think I forgot to do at the end of the last playthrough is, murder all the Firekeepers. That stinks. Well, we'll get more Firekeeper souls this playthrough, I suppose. We don't need a fully upgraded Estus Flask that badly. Anyway, we'll just move on. We'll go kill the bell gargoyles. Feel the wrath of Artorias! Artorias is the greatest swordsman. Also, I should go human. I'll do that at the next bonfire. I wish you can get a set of Artorias armor that isn't all beat up. I know there's mods for that, but the thing about appearance mods is if I get invaded by somebody and they don't have it, they don't see me like that. And I kind of want the theme to just, you know, be universally good, you know? Like, I don't want to see myself looking all exactly the way I want to and then not have other people, so I decided instead of, you know, going with like an Artorias that's using the Artorias greatsword that isn't, you know, all covered in, like, I don't know, barnacles or whatever, I would go with, which, I mean, it doesn't make much sense. It's like the sword was at the bottom of the sea. Yeah, parries and backstabs in the beta were really fun. I was surprised how quickly I was able to pick up parrying other players. I think there was seriously only like 2 guys that I didn't parry, and one of them was because he had some really broken animations. It was really weird. It was like he was just standing in front of me, and I was just getting hit. But of course, beta's beta. I'm not complaining about that. That's just how. I mean, I didn't get the beta expecting there to not be any bugs, and you shouldn't either. The game still has 5 months to release. About. Also, I gotta go human. Said I would, almost didn't. Total scumbag. But yeah, that agility stat. I think it also affects how quickly you get the parry off or something like that. It might also affect your roll and vulnerability frames. I know it affects like your roll speed and stuff like that as well, which is interesting. It looks like your roll speed will be affected by a multitude of things, not just like equipment load. Agility is going to play a part in it. There's also a trap disabled. There's a chest in the game where if you opened it up, it would like poison you. So I wonder if I would have opened that up if I had enough trap disable stat or whatever. I mean, that wasn't a stat. That was one of the bonuses that you would get with agility. And oh my god, I'm not dead. Nope, stay away. Thought I was about to die there. Alright. Also, yeah, multiplayer, other than that one guy with the little glitched out animations, there didn't seem to be any lag for me whatsoever. Of course, there was only, like, there couldn't have been more than, like, 5,000 people playing at once, so I guess, you know, not really like a server overload thing. I liked how the Covenant of Blue worked. As far as I know, you could only help people out with the whole Covenant of Blue thing if you selected the warrior at the start, because there's a ring that you have to wear to get summoned other people as well. It seems like only the warrior had started out with that ring. The rest you couldn't find it anywhere, and the rest of the people didn't start out with it. But it seems like everybody was in the Covenant of Blue. At least every class I played as. I tried out the Temple Knight, the warrior, and a little tiny bit of the dual swordsman. I kind of feel like I didn't give the dual swordsman a proper chance. Like, I understood how it worked. I just started playing it, and I was like, I'd rather have a shield. I mean, it does have a shield, so, but I like to have a build that has a shield out at all times. Not necessarily because, not because like turtling, because I don't like the turtle, but I like to always have parrying be an option. That's why I almost never two-hand a weapon in PvP. I want parrying to always be there for, like, on a split-second notice. And the only time I'd ever really two-hand is with, like, a halberd, because, you know, I would use that at a range. They're not really within parry distance if I'm two-handing a halberd. So, you know, that's just how that is. Weapons also seem to have a, like an effective range, like a both minimum and maximum. Like weapons like long swords and stuff like that seem to be more effective when they were point blank. But when I was using the halberd, it seemed like it was more effective the farther away they were. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense, because the point blank you're hitting them with, like, the pole or whatever. Interesting. All the same, though, any worries about anything being bad in Dark Souls 2, it's all gone for me. I mean, I guess there's still the chance that level design wouldn't be good, but I doubt that's going to be an issue from what I've seen so far. Everything looks really cool. And, you know, a lot of people, I mean, I know some people, I'm not going to say any particular names, and obviously they're entitled to their opinion, and I respect their opinion, Because, I watch their channels regularly. I don't always agree with what they say, but he always has good reasoning behind a lot of it, so, I mean, seems like the kind of guy I could get into an argument with and actually have it be productive. But, some people were complaining about how some of the more tight, controlled mechanics not going to be able to work in Dark Souls 2, like some, like pivot backstabbing. Honestly, I was never really a fan of pivot backstabbing. I mean, yeah, I could do it pretty well, but it's weird. You seem to have to take a different approach to PvP in Dark Souls 2, and I felt it was for the better. There wasn't really, how do I explain it? Like, it wasn't really you couldn't really just say the PvP is the better or it's worse, because you had to approach it so differently. I found that a head-on approach was... They gave you a lot more options for a head-on approach. And for, like, a more aggressive approach, which is pretty cool. A lot of people will sometimes turtle and wait for their opportunity to get backstab, or, they'll have a playstyle that's all about backstabbing. It seems more about getting up in each other's face, fighting out and thinking on the spot, maybe retreating, maybe trying to punish somebody into a backstab, but... Backstabs in this one actually feel like it's to punish people, as opposed to like, okay, he was trying to lag behind me, I tried to counter lag stab him, and he thought I messed up and he got me. It doesn't really feel like that anymore. If people backstab you, if anybody backstabbed me in the beta, I always felt like, oh, I shouldn't have swung, I shouldn't have used that attack on that weapon, it has too long of a wait, or I used it when he was too close, so it gave him enough time to circle around me. Stuff like that. There's a lot of times you get backstabbed in Dark Souls PvP, and it's a bit frustrating. I mean, when you play it a long time, you understand like how the lag works and how you can kind of manipulate it to get like a counter backstab and stuff like that. So you feel less like it's annoying and more like it's your fault. But immediately in Dark Souls 2, none of it really looked weird. I have seen videos from other people where the backstabbing looked a bit odd, but for the most part, mine, it didn't, like, rubber band me more than, like a foot. I mean, 1 foot may sound like a bit, but it's really not much. I mean, that's, like, from one side of this pole to the other. Not from the base, not, like, up and down. That'd be ridiculous. Oh, and I'm being evaded because I decided to stop and, explain the pole thing. Oh, never mind, they failed. Okay. GG. Too good. Get on my level. Might as well murder this man. Although I really should rest at the bonfire first. I'm gonna go do that. He tried to jump on me. Also, I noticed that you couldn't seem to block as many attacks in this one. Your stamina would get drained pretty quickly from blocks. Like from another player, if I found that I could only block like maybe 4 attacks from like a longsword in rapid succession. Which I like, because it kind of prevents turtling if you don't... It's not like, oh, well, you don't have a shortle, so they can turtle all day. No, you can typically just bash their shield a bit, and it would break their block pretty quickly. Also, the kick is now replaced with a nice little block break move. And what it does is... It pretty much just it's designed more to break their block than anything else now. And the best part about... block breaking now is when you break their block, you can actually riposte them when they're in the like block broken animation. I didn't do it myself, but I have seen somebody else do it on their channel, which is really cool. Because now if somebody's like turtling a lot, you can actually just shove them and they'll break their block, and you can punish them for it. So blocking is more about I would say the fighting in Dark Souls 2 is probably going to be more about dodging, but blocking is still good to have, like, in a quick moment. Or, because, I mean, if you're mobile with the blocking, it's unlikely that you're going to, if you're mixing in dodges with your block, I find it very unlikely you're going to have your block broken. So, yeah, okay, I wanted to go back and go get Solaire. Solaire! Also, you move slower. You move backwards slower. So, when you lock onto somebody and try to move backwards, you don't, like, go backwards just as quickly as you go forwards. So that, again, kind of helps prevent people from, like, turtling and backing up, which I felt was kind of an issue. Not even sure we're going to bother with Solaire this time. Oh right, I forgot you were here. No! Bad giant knight man. Let's try to clear out that mage before this invader shows up, if he shows up. I feel like he will. Haha! And you know, when somebody does invade, it's probably going to be pretty tricky because this Greatsword's moveset is pretty limited for PvP. Not much of it's really all that good. And, you know, my shield's kind of garbage. It's a Dark Hand, but I felt it was the most appropriate thing for, you know, the Abyss Artorias. Because I am in, you know, like the broken armor, I'm using the Abyss sword. Oh, God! That was a lot of damage in very little time. Ooh, that was close. Heal up. Wow, what's my armor at? I seem to be taking a metric F-ton of damage. Let's go murder Lautrec. Now we're gonna wait for him to get down the Firelink Shrine. We're just gonna murder him on the spot. Haha! Also, by the way, when you buff a weapon in Dark Souls 2, if you put it away and then take it back out, you know, like you just toggle between weapons on the directional pad, you'll still have it. It'll still be buffed, which is pretty nice. And man, when Dark Souls 2 comes out, I'm definitely gonna try to roll with sort of a Temple Knight build, just because I like so many of the spells now. See, a lot of the spells seem to inherently be a group spell now. Like, actually, let me just murder Lautrec first, and then I'll explain.
You leave me no choice. I was once grateful to you.
Okay, he's got the red Tearstone now.
This is our fate. You deserve.
Alright. So, a lot of the miracles in Dark Souls are mainly just, heal yourself, or give yourself regeneration, and there's, you know, there's like 2 miracles in the game that affects people nearby you. Well, I'm pretty sure they realized that everybody just thought, fuck that, and they never bothered with that. So, now, the Heal Miracle I had in the beta allowed me to heal myself and people around me. And what would happen is, I think that I didn't get the chance to test this, but based on how, like, the spells looked, it appeared that if I used the L1, or R1, I guess, depending on the hand. I always like to put my talismans and stuff like that in the left hand. But when I held L1, and you can hold it down and your guy will stay crouched down. I'm assuming I'm charging it to make it stronger or something. But when you hold down L1, you would cast it on yourself. And it seemed like when I used L2, it would sort of have an area of effect of sorts. Oh, Solaire's still here, even though I didn't talk to him. That's cool. Anyway, let's go through here and hopefully sell out the boss. I think he's going to show up because I didn't move immediately, just due to a bit of surprise. But yeah, it seemed like the L2 sort of had like a radius around it, so I could get other people. And the same thing applied with the War spell, which is sort of like it was a defense and offense buff. You know, increased your armor and damage. I think was the exact description. And I think there's also a regeneration one, which again could affect a group, which is pretty nice. I really like that. I mean, I don't typically do co-op, but the way Dark Souls 2 is looking, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more fun. The same with being a, because I like the Covenant of Blue from what I've done, and I feel this will also be useful, because, you know, when you're Covenant of Blue, you're going to have somebody with you when somebody invades, whether it's I'm getting invaded and I'm trying to survive, or if I'm just helping out a Blue Covenant brother. And, you know, it'd be nice to be able to heal him if he's in danger, give him a buff. Ah! Death! More death! Yeah, I like that. Again, it makes Faith more appealing, which is, you know, Faith is one of my favorite setups. And since War isn't like a weapon buff, I'm not sure if you'll be able to buff any weapon. You know how like before you couldn't buff elemental weapons for the most part. I get the feeling you'll be able to in this one. I have no proof of that whatsoever, but I get the feeling you'll be able to. But the War buff, since it's not applied to your weapon, it's applied to your character. It should the damage bonus should also apply to like an elemental weapon, which is good because since I'm going to want to use a wide variety of both dexterity and strength weapons as a Faith character, I'm going to want to make a lot of them Faith scaling weapons, you know, like lightning damage or occult damage or something like that. So yeah. So,
Greetings. I am Oswald.
let's see, learn gesture. Well, what is it? Yeah, that's nice.
You're not welcome.
Another thing, strength weapons seemed a lot more viable in the beta. A lot of them swung a lot faster. Like, I mean, this Zweihander basically swung as fast as a claymore. It's pretty crazy. Also, punching does more than like 1 or 2 damage. I saw somebody else with a video. He got into like, he punched a guy a couple times and it did like, he was doing like 30 or 40 damage per punch, which may not sound like much, but I think he also got backstabbed by the dude, and he took like a third of his total health and damage, so fist fights might actually become a thing, which would be boss as hell. Apparently this guy died, I didn't notice. Right, let's actually go back down to Firelink Shrine. Alright. So, once I rest the bonfire, I think I'll end this video. I got more stuff to talk about, though. So, stay tuned! Now, remember, this is the first episode, so like I do with all the first episodes in a series or a season, I'm just going to remind you guys there's a like button down there and a subscribe button and all that junk. And, you know, it really helps me out when you like videos, and it makes me feel good inside when you subscribe. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I've been Crazy Mike. I am Crazy Mike, and I'll see you next time.